Will Brown, Chief Executive here at Gloucestershire, who must have worked extremely hard over the last, I don't know how long does it take to prepare for a one-day international like this, where you've got to build temporary stands, and all the catering out and basically transform the ground. It must be so disappointing to see what you can see at the moment, which is covers on, rain falling and umbrellas up.
Yeah, a sad day, to be honest with you. I mean, it's been a journey, I think, more than the normal sort of short-term stand build, because obviously we've had a major reconstruction here. So realistically, it's 3 years since we last hosted an international here, and actually, you know, it's been 3 years in the making for us. So we're really pleased with the way it's turned out, and certainly the last couple of days of, you know, the various England team, Indian team netting and using the facilities, it's all been really good. It's been really positive. But, you know, the great Bristol weather, there isn't a huge amount we can do about it at the moment, but keep people fed, watered, entertained, and we should be okay.
You must have looked at the forecast last. I saw one on Thursday, and it said rain on Monday. Oh no! And it can go wrong, this forecast, from that distance. But it's so frustrating that basically the weather forecasters, they said it was going to rain on Monday. They said Bank Holiday Monday was going to be awful for about 3 or 4 days ago, and it's turned out that way. And it doesn't always work out like that. The forecast can change, but I don't think we're going to get any play today. It doesn't look like it anyway. The rain will have to stop by 2 o'clock, and the forecast is not for that to happen. So what have the last couple of weeks been like? Has it been really intense? Have you been working for 18-hour days, or are you had it in hand by then?
Do you know what? I mean, we've got a great team. So actually there's a couple of guys, Peter Hall, our ground operations manager, and Lizzie Allen, who looks after the players and a lot of the ground stuff, have just been superb. I mean, they've been here for donkey's years, shall we say, and you know, they've seen it all before, and they know what to do and how to do it. So in some respects, it's been a bit of a back seat for me. You know, I've sort of been hanging on their coattails and rushing around and seeing what they do. But so they've done a fantastic job. I mean, it's always a challenge. You know, first international for a few years with a new ground, but yeah, it's been a learning curve, shall we say, and a few sleepless nights, a couple at sort of 3 in the morning when you wake up and think, is that the child that's woken me up, or is that my own brain ticking over?
Now, 15,000 people in the ground. If we don't get any play today, and some will be listening on their radios out there, and perhaps some haven't turned up today, might be listening at home and wondering what happens next if they don't get any play. What happens to the money from their tickets?
Yeah, well, there's basically 2 things really can happen. One is a refund policy. So if we didn't have any play at all, there's actually addresses information on the back of their tickets, and they essentially send their tickets off to the address on there, and they'll be refunded the full amount. If we play a certain amount of overs, that obviously varies over time, but if there's a full match cancelled, then they get all their money back. But equally, what we're quite keen to do, we've actually got some guys coming over the bridge from Glamorgan right now with a load of tickets from there. They've got a few seats available still, and we'll be happy to this afternoon be able to offer people a straight refund of a ticket at the ODI on Wednesday in Glamorgan instead.
So you could go along on Wednesday.
Yep.
Okay. What about the club itself? How financially damaging is a day like today as opposed to a day where there's cricket?
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, from a ticket point of view, we're insured, so we're covered on that side. But it's everything else that goes around it. You know, it's.
So you make loads from beer sales and
beer sales. It's
exactly
the burgers and everything else that goes with it, and so that's where it tends to hit us in the pocket, and that will hurt us a bit. But it's also about, you know, we're trying to encourage people to come to county cricket as well as international cricket, and especially with new facilities. This is the first time a lot of the guys would have actually been up here and seen them since we built it, and it would have been nice to have had a nice sunny day where they would have come along and gone, wow, you know, especially sort of memberships where we've got, you know, all T20 matches and every single weekend day of cricket for 90 quid for a year. You know, the reality is we wanted people to come along and sort of leave hopefully thinking, do you know what, that was a good day out, and that's something that's worth buying.
Yeah, well, there's nothing you can do about the weather. No. We know, I mean, Edgbaston suffered recently. They've had a terrible run with cricket up there, losing test match days and one-day international days, Headingley as well. It's one of those things. What about the future of international cricket here? It's the first one-day international here for 4 years. It's the first international cricket for 3 years. There was a T20 game here 3 years ago. That was the last one, and you sort of ducked out while the ground was being developed and upgraded, and those of you who haven't been here, there are blocks of flats now at the far end of the ground. A wonderful view. If you've got one of those flats, it's a magnificent place to live if you love your cricket, overlooking the ground. It's given the ground more of a sort of sense of theatre, especially with the temporary seating away to the left-hand side as well. So the ground has been totally redeveloped. What about the future of international cricket here?
Very high on our agenda right now. So we've got haven't got any next year, and then we've got a Sri Lanka match in 2016.
One day international T20?
To be confirmed. So we don't know for definite yet. But
what would you prefer?
I mean, they both sell pretty well. I mean, it's the challenge I think with quite often with Schrank and the likes, it'll be quite early on in the season. And we know that some of the grounds struggled this year in terms of sales early in the season, especially with having a lot of the T20 matches pre the Lord's Test match. I think a lot of people in England wake up to cricket post the Lord's Test match. So actually, I think hopefully we'll see some of the Test matches played first, and then into the One Day or the T20 series. But we'll be happy. We've always sold well against Schrank. I mean, to be fair, we've never sold less than 90% of our tickets for any match we've ever played in Bristol. So we've got a good sellout record, which is key. And we're just about to enter the bidding process for the period 2017 to 2019, which, as you know, has got some cracking international theatre matches. In terms of sort of international cup competitions, Champions Trophy, the men's and the women's Cricket World Cup. And we think we've got a pretty good shout. I mean, always sold out, 6th largest city in England, 16,000 capacity, good transport infrastructure. We've genuinely got a multicultural city in the way that, I think I lived in London for 15 years, and London's the only comparison I've ever seen around the country. There's a lot of countries which have a large sort of, 2 or 3 large distinct populations, but Bristol, got a big Pakistani population, big Indian population, big West Indian population, big Bangladeshi population, big English population, so go on and on. So we're quite happy to just take anything on and be confident that we can sell what we're given. Plus, one thing, we're really, really keen to get the Women's Cricket World Cup here as well, because we've actually got the highest percentage of female members and spectators of any county club in the country, and we think that's sort of, so we've got a lot of ladies wanting to come and watch the men's game and the women's game, and a lot of blokes are happy to do that too. So we think we've got a good shout. We've got a few steps we've got to make first. I think the shame not to have the match today in terms of the atmosphere. I think the facilities have gone down very well, and we're really pleased with the approval we've had for that. Floodlights is next on our agenda from a bill point of view, and that'll be quite key for the 2019 Cricket World Cup. That's the only one we definitely need them for, but it'd be nice to have them for T20 as well.
So what's the plan with the floodlights? You definitely getting them, or when will you get them if you are going to get them?
Well, we started residents consultation about a month ago, with a view to putting planning in probably in the next 4 weeks. What we'd like to do is hopefully have an answer, and obviously a positive answer, by the end of January 2015, which is when we've got to have submitted our sort of formal bid for future internationals. And it'd be lovely to go into that, to be able to say, do you know what, we've got permission for floodlights. If we can, we put them up pretty much straight away. We've got the money put aside, put them up over winter this year, hit the T20 season next year, with that later start. Because one of the challenges in Bristol is the 5:30 starts. Fine, and we get good crowds through the door, but if we could push it back to 6:30 or 7, it gives all the guys and girls from the City Bowl a bit more time to get up here, gives the guys and girls from north of the county up from Cheltenham and Gloucester the chance to come down as well. So that eases the traffic round here, because Bristol big city and everything goes with it. So there's a lot of positives on the domestic side from floodlights as much as there is from the international.
Yeah, local residents, I mean, it's understandable, I suppose. There's been some resistance to progression, it might be the best way of describing it in Bristol. I mean, you've had some problems here transforming the ground. Bristol City had problems building their new stadium. In fact, that's been abandoned now. Bristol Rovers had problems for a while. I think they are moving now, aren't they? Yeah. Although their relegation means that I don't know whether the money's necessary. I don't know whether they're going to actually move. But they've had a few hold-ups as well, trying to move away from the memorial ground, which you can see the floodlights peeking over the houses away to our left-hand side. There seems to be a bit of a resistance here. So how confident are you getting those floodlights?
I've got to be careful what I say, because we've got the Mayor and the Lord Mayor downstairs right now, so and I think the Chief Executive from the Council too. But no, we are optimistic, I think would be the phrase. Look, I think everyone would admit to the fact that Bristol has had its challenges when it's come to planning permission, especially around big sports events. I think Bristol's a great city for on all levels, artistic, cultural, sport, musical, it's got a really strong heritage. But sometimes I think we need to sort of step up and actually people to put their money where their mouth is in terms of supporting these things. And what we found is when we built the flats, because they're large and they're beautiful and they're large, and you're right, that sense of theatre, the players love playing out there now because it encloses it. And even the days when you've got a reasonably low attended county championship match, it's just the noise of the ball coming off the bat is a lot louder. The applause goes further and everything goes with it. So they love that. But that was a challenge. But floodlights, local residents seem to get it a bit more. They can get the link. It's a lot easier to say these are for cricket purposes, and they've always been happy to live near a cricket ground. So we will definitely get some challenges, and we've already listened to them through the residents' consultation. We've tweaked a few things. But floodlights are sort of what they are. They're designed to do a job. They only work in certain places, and they only work in a certain height and a certain brightness. So, quietly optimistic, but certainly not counting our chickens.
So, floodlights, next World Cup. I mean, you're talking about the next World Cup in England is in 2019. We're actually talking about the next World Cup in Australia, but of course, in the 2019 one is here in England. You'd be looking what, 1 or 2 matches, or you try to get a whole sort of raft of games, sort of 5 games, something like that?
We realistically, I think we get to see what the final packages will look like, but ideally 3-4 games within that period. Obviously, the plan is, I think there's 48 matches over the period of the Cricket World Cup, and there's likely to be 11 or 12 venues that are interested, so it's not unreasonable to think we could get 3 or 4. And again, but it'd be nice to really put some thought into it, both at our side and the ICC and ECB, and actually, look at it and say, well, do you know what, we've got, a big West Indian population here. We'd love to have England playing here, but equally we're completely accepting that, do you know what, West Indies, Pakistan, that here would be an amazing game, and we'd sell out in seconds.
They played here in 1999. Yeah.
First match we ever had here, I think. So no, we know that sells well. Certainly 3 or 4 in that year. What I'd love to see would be 2017, 2018 and 2019 to have what I'd call a sort of regular ECB major match. So what we've got on today, or hopefully got on today, in England, India, England, South Africa, England, Pakistan, one of those at least in every year. If we could pick up 3 or 4 World Cup matches in 2019, that would be great. And ideally, a selection, if not both, of the 2017 Champions Trophy and the 2017 Women's Cricket World Cup. So it'd be nice to have, 8-9 matches potentially over a sort of 3-year period, but probably fairly intensive at the beginning and end of that period.
Yeah, I mean, I must ask the question as well. And people think it's probably a ridiculous question to ask, but no thought of trying to get Test cricket here.
I get asked that question.
Or is there some thought of getting Test cricket here?
I will maybe I'll scandalise myself here. I've not actually really thought about it. I've not looked into it, and genuinely, I think we could host Test match cricket as well as any other ground in the country. Said the city, the availability of transport and hotels and bars and restaurants, we're set up as a city to cope with that very well, and I think as a club we are too. What I don't yet understand, and I honestly haven't looked into it, is if someone turned around to me and said, well, I'll tell you what, all you need is 500 more permanent seats, and then you've got your category A status and your Test match ground, well, I'll probably do it in a flash. If someone turned around and said, well, it's 5,000 more seats and you need to do X, Y and Z on top, that's a bit more of a challenge, because with so many grounds bidding for internationals, there is only a certain amount of cricket to go round, and what we can't afford to do, and it's true of every county ground that hosts international matches, is you need to know what's around the corner. What you can't have is what we've had for the last few years, and partly driven by our own development, but we can't have a match every 2 years or 2 matches in 3 or whatever, because we've got the cost of being an international ground, the resource that goes with it, and we need to ensure that we've got international cricket coming here at least once every single year to make sure that we get the return on the investment we've made.
Yeah, I mean, just perhaps one final point about you've got a big international game here today. I mean, in terms of the club itself, Gloucestershire, okay, they've made the quarterfinals of the Royal London Cup, but Championship sort of languishing a bit, sort of mid to lower table in the second division. They sort of feel like a second division club now. Can international success, i.e. staging games, have a filter down effect into the team, and so you can sign better players and pay more money?
Yeah. I mean, essentially it is largely financial. The more international cricket we have the lowest squad expenditure of any county club. And we're not ashamed of that fact, because actually that's what the situation's dictated. And also, we've got a tremendous track record of developing academy players and youth players and through. So we have a small squad, we have a tight squad, and a squad that we've sort of developed ourselves, broadly speaking. So we're sort of happy with where we are on that front. But absolutely, we've developed the ground to a standard which works for the spectators, works for the media. But what we need to do now is put some money back into cricket. Now, in my mind, that could be about players, buying players, but actually I think it's about playing facilities as much as anything. It's about, John Bracewell uses a phrase, the sort of destination club. It's about, putting some money into the, decent physio rooms and a high performance centre, so the guys can actually, so cricketers can come here and say, this is an international ground, I can achieve what I want to achieve as a cricketer here at Bristol. And so a lot of that comes through financial means, but equally it's about continuing to develop from the academy and everything that goes with it. So I think, from the point of Gloucestershire, I think the future's definitely a bright one for us. Our membership's grown for the first time in about 10 years, gone up by 30% year on year, and I think we've got a story to tell now. There's a bit of a buzz about the place, and I think we can, a bit more energy, a bit more drive, tap into that Bristol and the Gloucestershire market in terms of members, and all the money that comes through the door, we'll put it back out there on cricket and for county cricket to make sure we've got a squad that can be genuinely competitive in as many formats as we possibly can.
Okay, well, commiserations today, but good luck for the future.
Thank
That's
you.
Will Brown, the Chief Executive of Gloucestershire County Cricket Club. I say commiserations today because it is raining out there and the prospects of play look bleak, I have to say.